topics covered. We go through the main topics that are going to be covered in this course for Juz Amma, and we'll start here with two very important topics that will take quite a lot of the time in terms of our learning, and will be covered across the entire 3 semesters of the course. And they're related to your correct pronunciation of the Arabic letters. Now, in order to get the correct pronunciation of your Arabic letters, there are two things you must master. One is known as the makharij, which in English we know as the points of articulation of the letters. This is a science in its own right, and we're going to learn which organs are required to pronounce the letters. So we mean the tongue, the throat, the positioning of the tongue, even moving sounds into the nasal cavity. And the letters in the Arabic alphabet are divided up according to whereabouts they originate from, and some letters originate from almost the same position or even the same position. And hand in hand with this, we have to learn something known as the sifat, which in English is known as the characteristics or the attributes of the letters. So the points of articulation tell us where the letters originate from, but if a few letters originate from the same place, you need to distinguish them or distinguish their differences by the individual characteristics of the letters, and these are learnt hand in hand with the places of origination. So between these two we end up with correct pronunciation, and this is something you can read in books, and we'll have this on some of our webinars. However, to learn this properly, it takes a teacher to sit with you and correct your mistakes, because they're not that obvious when you do your own recitation, and it takes quite a bit of practice and readjustment of your pronunciation in order to get all of this correct. The other major topics that we're going to cover, first here is how to memorize the Quran. Now this might seem obvious, however there are methods which you can use which are tried and tested, and we'll teach you about these memorization methods. The second one here is what we talked about before, and then we get on to the correct articulation of the short vowels. So that is your fatha, the dhamma, and the kasra. Now this might seem very trivial, however it's not. It's actually very difficult to maintain the correct pronunciation of these short vowels, and it takes the correct understanding of how to move your jaws. And this is something your teacher will teach you, and it will take time for you to adapt to this, and your teacher will ingrain this in you as you go through the course. We then cover light and heavy letters, and again this you can learn very quickly from a book. However, to implement this takes a lot of time, and a lot of the mistakes of students when they begin their tajweed is to do with light and heavy letters, and this will be drilled out of you, i.e. your mistakes will be drilled out of you across the 3 semesters. We then cover the rules of the silent and doubled noon. We cover the rules of the silent and doubled meme. Most of these topics are quite straightforward. There are a few topics within these that require some skill training. We then look at something called the qalqala, which is known in English mostly as the echo letters. We'll then look at the rules of lengthening sounds, known as the mad, and there's a few different categories in this, and these are very important. A lot of major mistakes are caused by incorrect lengths. And then we'll cover the rules of stopping, and this will be done briefly to a average level. And this gives us an overall view of everything that we're going to learn. And again, we'll learn this in theory. However, we will ingrain this into our recitation and try to master all of this within this one juz over the 3 semesters.